In the last 12 months, ending Q3 of last year, approximately 114 active businesses went into liquidation. That's quite a high figure. If you had 1,000 customers, just under 100 of those customers have probably gone into liquidation now. But in Q3 alone, there were just under 5,000 compulsory liquidations in England and Wales. And that was an increase of nearly 15% on prior year. Again, you'll notice just within print and packaging last year, there was an increase of 17%. 394 businesses went insolvent. But in relation to print and packaging in 2008, there were just over 8,000 businesses in the UK that we classed as having a significant problem. Last year, there was an increase of 8%, albeit maybe a small increase, but certainly an increase. And that's businesses in your industry that we classed as having significant problems. Having looked at the bad debt or bad debts that you've had, is there anything different you could have done or would have done before that bad debt appeared? We spent a great deal of time analysing the amount of failed businesses in the last 4.5 years and what started to happen prior to their ultimate failure. And we built algorithms around that trend to identify at the very, very early stages this business has gone from healthy into an area of concern or possible insolvency and distress. You probably have a process in place. When was the last time you reviewed that process? Are there additional things you could be doing within that process to maybe support or eliminate future bad debt? When you suffer a bad debt, what does happen occasionally, and it's actually becoming more common, is you may suffer a bad debt with ABC Limited and 3 or 4 weeks down the track, XYZ Limited approach you for credit. Do you know the ins and outs of that XYZ? Is it indeed the same directors, the same business, the same trading address, etc.? I haven't highlighted every single risk indicator because there's over 130 different activities that we've identified that change the shape of a business and move it from a healthy business into a significant or critical or red flag stage. I've highlighted some of the obvious ones here, but there are many more. These are all indicators that there may be problems within the business. Okay, so we move on to managing commercial risk. New acquisition, new customers are vital for the health of your own business. It's now at a stage where many businesses now are spending a great deal of time on looking at healthy organisations. Who do we actually want to do business with and who will be safe doing business with? Good business intelligence. I would assume and guess that most of you in the room use some form of information provider for an initial credit vet or a check or just for your own intelligence. But it's essential that you're doing that and that you're using the right providers for that information as well. So I may take a Dun & Bradstreet report on ABC Limited. ABC Limited could change tomorrow morning. Do you keep an eye out for that trend of possible distress or danger, rather than opening an account because you've taken a credit information report and it's all very healthy? If you don't, you certainly should for your existing providers, because most providers now provide some form of monitoring facility. Ongoing business intelligence, pretty much one and the same. Your best customer that always pays you on time and has been with you for 20 years is changed. They've gone from what may seem a very healthy customer to somebody that's actually a very, very high risk. What would you do differently? How would you treat that client? Do you understand the commercial health and stability of your suppliers? This isn't just about customers. Your risk can be across 3 areas, if I'm honest. One is the obvious one, which is your customers. I think secondly is your suppliers. How healthy are your suppliers? If one of your suppliers failed tomorrow, what effect would that have on your business and your customers? And again, your competitors. Do you monitor, do you take intelligence on your competitors? Many businesses now are moving to a stage where they're saying to themselves, we need new customers, but we need the right new customers. We need people that can afford to pay us. We need people that are healthy. We need people that are stable. Organisations where we won't just have maybe a one-off sale, but we can do long-term business with. Profile and mirroring your good customers. Okay, you'll all have good customers. There's many characteristics you can take out of a company and look for like organisations. Your customers aren't necessarily going to tell you they're in trouble. They're not necessarily going to tell you they're not paying their bills on time. They're not necessarily going to tell you they're having a restructure or somebody's trying to acquire them. They may, but they may not. And I think a good monitoring, effective facility will keep you ahead of the game. Are we using some of the additional tools and services that our data provider have in their portfolio? Certainly from a Dun & Bradstreet or maybe Equifax point of view, they work extremely hard on providing that risk and exposure tool to keep you abreast of things. Thank you very much.